Welcome back to WGLNA Season 2, Qualifier number 2. We are one step closer to finding out who's going to be joining us in League Play starting in October for a $100,000 prize pool against some of the best that America has to offer in World of Tanks esports. I'm Joshua Gray, call sign Clutch, joined by Andre Gritor Pengshua, and we saw a great series, and we want to thank Nagatron for joining us, but now we have his teammate, Soviet, for some great commentary and also great illustration skills, as we saw during this week earlier.
Yeah, you know, as a kid, I was playing with Microsoft Paint, so
Yeah.
really got proficient at it.
Microsoft Paint is a fun program to use when I was 5 or 6. I don't know if they had computers back then. I think they did. Not in homes.
Probably not in the 60s.
No.
Guys, we just had PubStars make it a 3-0 series over their opponents, the Landing Zone Slayers. Really exciting stuff at that last battle. And, you know, Nagatron brought up a lot of really, really cool points about, you know, taking advantage of the 5100, reloading, and having those IS-3s just push in. And it's basically a 3v5 for a good 10, 15 seconds. That's all you need. That's the extra shot that you might need to just win it out in that series. And that's something that's really, really cool that these newer teams are introducing even to the well-seasoned, well-peppered Fulcrum Gaming.
How excited were you to see 5 IS-3s on the map?
Not as excited as you think. I think it's very theoretically incorrect to bring 5 IS-3s. I do feel like a 5100 is needed at all times. Yes,
Soviet?
at all times.
Soviet, IS-3 you say is the best tank in the game. Your thoughts?
You know, I'll agree with Great Torp here. 5100 or even 2 adds so much more versatility to the team. When your IS-3s are all reloading and those 5100s are there just to put down a tank immediately, that gives us such a huge advantage to the team. You're going with 5 tanks, all of a sudden you're down to 4. And that's what the 5100 brings to the battle.
Variety is always a tactical advantage when it comes to mobility, speed, accuracy, and pretty much anything when it comes to warfare.
That's
Definitely
right.
Variety.
And you know, we used to see a lot of T69s, and I used to say, you know, 4 IS-3s and a T69 would be perfect. But I think because of how because of how inconsistent, I guess, the T69 is these days, I feel like the 5100 is going to have to replace it. But overall, I would love to see a T69 back with 300 pen over the 5100, just because I feel like it's a better supportive role to those IS-3s. Just being able to put out the right amount of shots and not having to do over damage.
Well, it's the flanking and the finishing off,
That's
really.
right.
But Soviet, you had something else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I wanted to add that a T69 in the right hands right now is still a very dangerous weapon. And with you know, quick reload time and ability to reposition, and the fact that the 69 is quite smaller than the 5100, there are certain situations when the 69 is the right tank to choose, as long as the player that's playing it is making every shot count and aiming those shots. You cannot longer just spam click the 69 anymore. So that's the change, and we'll see how it affects the season, but I think we'll still see it a lot. A lot.
How many of these players would you say on each of these teams actually know how to use the T69? Because I'm sure you look at these newer teams coming into it and say, well, you know, these players are just abusing 300 pen. That's a ridiculous amount of pen for a tier 8. How many of these teams out of, let's say, the 16 do you think actually knows how to use the T69 correctly?
Very few, unfortunately. But it's, I would say, 1 to 2 players total.
Wow. That's
1 to 2.
That's crazy.
1 to 2.
Per team or?
No, for the whole qualifiers.
Holy moly.
Wow.
And I'm not afraid to say this because, once again, we kind of got spoiled, as all the players got spoiled by the introduction of better accuracy in 8.6. And when that happened and Arty was removed, players just became more reckless with their shots. They just spam them out and don't have to worry about anything. And especially against like IS-3 front. The IS-3 in the front is such a dangerous tank to shoot at, because if you miss the shot with your autoloader, all of a sudden your potential damage goes down and you can ruin the chances of your team. The moment you go and reload, that's it. You know, you didn't do your job. So a lot of the players, and unfortunately even in the, you know, even in the league, I would say, in the teams that are already in the league, there's very few players that can make those shots consistently. They aim for the weak spots. They know the weak spots of all the tanks. And 8.6 is kind of to blame for that. I'm hoping that with the changes that happened, that's going to go away and we're going to have more proficient players.
And also, time is going to fix that, right?
Definitely.
As soon as you introduce this change and make it a permanent thing, people start, adjusting their play style. This is going through the growing pains. I would
Things
say.
settle.
Exactly.
It definitely settles.
Exactly so. Or you know what's a really good option that Soviet didn't actually point out? Just fire all HE. I mean, that's the perfect option to do it. That's the new meta, guys. Fire all HE. Soviet agrees. Confirm, deny.
As long as you
Confirm. Thank you.
Trolling. Okay. Our next match is going to be Vorbild line versus Refuse to Die. Refuse to Die has a very deep history so far with the American League
That's
here,
right.
and a bag of kittens, leading that charge, and the rest of his teammates have been some fun conversations, really talking about these different names for the teams, but also they're back again, and they want this victory. I mean, every team wants this, but this is a team I think that has maybe the most to lose because they were able to participate in season 1.
But at the same time, I feel like their attitude is so good, right?
Of course.
They're craving to learn more. They're craving to be better. And this is something we saw a little bit late to the scene, right? At first, we saw in the WGLNA season 1, their first maybe 5 matches not looking that great. We're all like, okay, free win, free win, free win.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we're going to be professional about it, but a lot of even the players were saying it. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, well, let's see what they can do. And guess what? They had a great attitude about it. They turned it around. That was the time where they got to experiment a lot more because they knew they were probably going to be relegated out of the season. And they put on a fantastic showing. Now they're coming back. They're trying to re-qualify for this. And let's be honest, they've looked completely different than what we saw in all of the regular season. They just looked a lot more refined. They have plans going into it. Their tanking is even better because I think their confidence is better.
Well, and that confidence is from experience, as we've talked about many times. This team has had multiple matches broadcasted. They've had to prepare for with many teams that are considered the best in North America. And when you have that experience under your belt, coming into the qualifiers, you're up against unproven teams when it comes to professional play. Not saying that they're not skilled, that they don't have the talent. They're just unproven.
And what's cool, though, is that they're also not overthinking things, because I think that's a trap that a lot of teams get into. It's like, oh, well, they might know what I know, so I'm going to do this based on that, but they might think that I might do this because I know what they know. It's just... it's
a lot of mind games, but also...
It doesn't make sense to go that far into it. They
can
stick to the plan. They go for it. They have their set things where they say, if we see this, let's go for that. If not, let's just continue on with our plan. And that's something that you need. Decisiveness. Get away from hesitation and just go for it. If you're going to attack, it doesn't make sense to hesitate because you're just putting yourself in a 0-win situation.
And Soviet, I'm sure Fulcrum has gone through that of many different scenarios, environments, map challenges really that your team has challenged, and what if this happens, theory crafting, and you become more comfortable with the different strategies you encounter in different tournaments because you've been exposed to so much more.
Right. There's you can make up a lot of skill. You can catch up on the various techniques, let's say, but one thing you cannot catch up really fast on is experience, and we cherish that a lot. We always going into tournaments, whether it's local here in North America or international, looking for that experience, and we know that every experience earned, whether it's a win or a loss, is a good thing for us as a team. And one thing about Refuse to Die is they earned a lot of respect around the league, a lot of respect from us now, that they stuck to it. They did not blow up their team. They did not make radical changes. They're sticking to the plan. They're improving. They're looking to have more games under their belt going into Season 2.
The next map is going to be on Ents, which is going to be the first battle of this match. And Vorbild line is a team, again, they performed well, otherwise they wouldn't be here, but this is the most that we've seen them perform because they signed up for this qualifier. And I really have no expectations when it comes to this team. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to perform, even down to the type of tanks they're going to bring on this map.
Yeah, definitely so. And we've already seen the extreme, well, maybe not the extremes, but we've definitely seen a large discrimination in skill from our last series. Even though we're in the semifinals, yes, these teams have a lot of experience. Yes, these teams have a lot of skill. But when it comes down to it, when you're putting 7 tanks against 7 tanks, Pubstars was able to 3-0 another team. Doesn't matter. That's showing you a large discrimination. So we might be seeing that with Refuse to Die against this team. We might not. It's a big question mark so far.
It definitely is. And this map, I think, is a good map to kind of prove the type of. I hesitate even to use the word confidence, but maybe kind of the flow of team mechanics.
Sure.
Who is in charge? How are they calling it? Where are they going in the first 3 minutes? Where are they going to set up a position? Where are they going to put their T1s? And with that information that we're going to see, especially as we pay attention to Vorbild line, how are they going to match up against Refuse to Die? Are they going to be full of surprises like Cazadores was? I always love to bring up Cazadores because that's a team where people did not know how to plan.
Or even River of Blood. I mean, they're known for their aggression, and now they're a very refined team, I feel. They've kind of toned down their aggression.
More well-rounded.
And they use it as a strength rather than using it as the go-to, right? That's something that is truly, truly skillful in any competition. Refuse to Die over here, we've seen them maybe the last 6 battles on Ensk always go to the east side. That's how they start. That's their go-to. So we'll see if we see that over here. Tank selection is right now, and already we're seeing some questionable pickups. A T-32 is going to be picked up. T-32 is not known to be that great overall, let alone on Ensk.
What? What is this blasphemy you're spitting out, my friend?
Well,
There's no
it's an
cons
American
of the
tank.
T-32.
There's no good American tanks right now.
Oh, well, the America just won the war. Because of air power, well, also because of tanks. But the Eastern Front was
I'm just
won
kidding, of
by the
course.
Russians with tanks Soviet. I know.
For those of you that don't know, Clutch is a...
T-32 has no cons, and I can't wait to unlock the Pershing. That's my next thing going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and jump into the battle. Can the T-32 pull it out? We'll see. It's battle number 1, Refuse to Die versus Vorbild line on Ensk. All right, Porkman and Sin 10 trying to get out of the bottleneck to the south, and Zizak all the way far away in the 5100 to try to go back and clean up that Quasar T1. Anubis takes down the 5100. Porkman tries to push in, or Pork Omen, excuse me, in the T-32, but he's taking a couple hits, and shots are being traded back and forth. Screenly still left alive, 167 and 1500.
A lot of misses, though, and this is actually costing Refuse to Die the potential win. A minute left in this battle. This should be cleared up. The IS-3 shouldn't be here. There should have been a much, much bigger commitment knowing that 5100 was isolated all the way back at home. But I'm afraid this 5100 he should probably just run away at this point because they know they can't cap in time, and at the same time, they're not going to be able to take out all these tanks.
It's going to come down to that Zizak, and he is heading home, staying away from these tanks. Another kill goes in. Valkyrie Vios in the 110. Lining up that shot against the IS-3. Sugata trying to hide behind Bonjo Man.
Oh, big miss.
Bounces from Valkyrie Vios, does not go in. Screenly tries to take his turn.
Screenly. No, that's a double tap. Oh, my goodness. That was the worst possible case to happen. The 2 low IS-3s getting there. Actually, the one IS-3, 110. Get in there, and they're just caught. Completely caught. I mean, they're only 1 shot away. There's no reason to walk into that. It's going to tie out, but Refuse to Die not committing to this attack, costing them the potential win here. There was absolutely no chance for this this blue team to actually win the brawl.
It's going to be a draw, folks.
And they even won it.
That was... I believe the spread was just a little bit too far to the west for those 5100s. If the 5100s moved in against those last 2 IS-3s, it could have been a completely different game. And the IS-3s with the lower health could have actually gone in for the push, try to get a couple shots against Zizak. Zizak might have cleaned them both up, but he would have been 2 to 3 shots less, have the remaining IS-3s or 5100s swoop in for the kill, because they are faster than the IS-3s.
Yes.
It would have been close, but that would have been a better approach in that scenario.
I think the main thing, they have to shut down that T-32 immediately. Just jump on him. I don't care if you're getting out of position. You have to know it's an overmatch. You just go for it. Make sure there's the most vectors that are attacking both the IS-3s and the T-32s. From there, you have to jump on the IS-3s immediately. Every single second that you waste, every time you miss a shot, that is just not having enough rounds to close out the overall map. And that's what it came down to. They were just trying to play a conservative style, keep their health points. But when you do that, you actually lose out a lot more because you're not taking advantage of the overmatch.
And also, if they had waited just a little bit longer for more of the bottleneck to happen when those 2 IS-3s that were going down the line were towards the ends of the railroad, they moved across instead of going back and forth on the flag cap, but moved across, or half a moved across, got a couple shots, and had a pincer attack moving in,
Yeah.
their turrets are going to have to pick one way.
That's right.
And that would have been a better approach as well. But Soviet, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, World of Tanks in many ways is a game of exchanges. And when you're exchanging your T1s for very little to nothing, you will most likely going to lose. And that's what happened to Vorbild Line. They kind of sacrificed their T1s early in the game for nothing. Let's see. So we had a T1 go down here somewhere quite early and Refuse to Die pushing up the east very well here, doing a good job pushing into the northern spawn here. But then they lost the intelligence. They knew that Vorbild Line didn't know what happened, and they rotated all the way back to their base. In the meantime, Vorbild Line set up to receive them from the east. So it's a game of confusion. You lost your eyes, then you reset to defend from the east. All of a sudden, they were going to push from the west, right? Then Vorbild Line proceeds to sacrifice another T1, pushing him down the one line with no cover at all. He just kind of ran in there, got shot, and that's it. Though they tried to Refuse to Die cut the map in half and push into their cap. Well, we saw that. Refuse to Die almost fumbled that. They really, the missed shots, you got to make those shots. You can't bounce the shots against the IS-3s.
Well, we can say that they did fumble it. I mean, they're in a position where they can't lose. They absolutely can't lose. Even if they lose the brawl, there's not enough time. They have their T1s alive. They should be able to always draw it out. But they lost a chance to really win that. That's what it really comes down to.
Correct.
The ball was in their court. They had a very easy shot. They did not make the shots that counted.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick commercial break. We come back. It's going to be battle number 2. Vorbild Line versus Refuse to Die. Don't go anywhere. You're watching WGLNA. Really enjoyed making those garage segments. More to come for some of the different tanks we've been working on, as well as some other great segments involving the crew here at the Hero Level Productions office, as well as Fulcrum and maybe some other fellow surprise guests. But a lot of fun so far, man. Season 1 was a blast. The finals were a blast in Las Vegas. We will release more information about the Season 2 finals soon. Stay tuned for that. And as always, make sure to follow us on Twitter at WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA. And if you want to watch the VODs, go to WGLNA.com. I'm Joshua Clutchgray, joined by Andre Gutor Hengshua and Kirill Bandar, the Soviet.
Thank you, guys.
The Sov 13T.
The Sov 13T, as some people say. You are Mr.
awesome
Soviet, spelling Soviet, SOV13T on Twitter. Make sure to follow him. And also, you can go to fulcrumgaming.gg for more information about the Season 1 winners for WGLNA. The next map for battle number 2 between these two teams is going to be on Cliff, which we saw in match number 1, in battle number 1. And I look forward to seeing what these two different teams are going to bring to this matchup. Soviet, you talked about kind of the donut and how it was used in a tactical way, and we'll talk about that more after the match to see if these teams actually use that. But I look forward to see what the audible plays are going to be here at the 5-minute mark. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and jump into the battle. It's going to be on Cliffs. Vorbild Line versus Refuse to Die.
All right, and here we go. A 5100, 3 T69s. And no, that's not a coughing. It's a wheezy, a WZ-132. On the other side, we have a Pershing 3 1390s and another wheezy being played by a bag of kittens.
I am intrigued with the Pershing play and also those 3 1390s. No T69s brought to the field here.
Now, I am a little bit worried because I don't like it when commanders are in light tanks. I just feel like, well, I shouldn't say light tanks, tier 8 light tanks.
Okay, because Mac G.
Yeah, Mac G is always in the T1 Cunningham. But the reason why I don't like that is because it's hard to active scout and also call a lot of battles. A lot of time you're so disconnected because you're trying to get yourself into position and you can't see right there what's always going on. That's why we see Negatron a lot of times being in the 1390s, which is normally running as a pack on very open fields, or we have him in a T69, which is able to call a lot of the stuff that's going on and see the overall big picture.
Look at this spread from Refuse to Die going on both opposite sides of the map, and they're going to sweep around the rocks at about the same time, but more the southern push right into the flag cap here is one of the tanks. Valkyrie View is taking a couple shots from Restless in the T1, but World War II Fanatic takes the brunt of those forces along with Anubis. These 1390s are hurting as they're trying to get the kill against the 5100. Sin 10 from far away. Anubis 303 and 432, excuse me, for World War II Fanatic. They have definitely taken some shots, but this is a distraction, really, Greetorp, as Bag of Kittens in his WZ-132 gets a kill against a T1. But Bonjo Man destroys Anubis, and the rest of his teammates are going to move in for the kill against the remaining red team. 21 seconds left on the clock, though, for the capture. And Valkyrie Views could continue to hold the line as the T-69s are bugging out, trying to get over to the flag cap.
Uh-oh, and Sin 10 is lining up a shot in his 5100. I'm not sure if he's clipping or not right now. Hopefully he's not, because he needs to reset this. He only has 3 seconds left. He needs to take the snapshot. And will he get it? No, it looks like Blue Base is going to be captured, ladies and gentlemen. Refuse to Die takes the second battle. Quick and dirty.
Wow. Wow, what great execution from that team. North side, red side, we have Refuse to Die up 1-0 in battle number 3. To the south, the blue team, Vorbild line. What do we have for tanks, Greetorp?
150, 100, 3 T69s, and a WZ-132 on the side for Vorbild line. On the other side, we have 2 5100s, a Pershing, a 1390, and a WZ-132. I would say overall, it's kind of interesting. Refuse to Die, I feel like, has a lineup that is extremely mobile with the 1390, with the WZ-132, with the Pershing, and then they bring the 5100 as like the backbone of their main damage. Ooh, early pickoff right here. Hired Gun, who is not in a T1 this time around, will take out a T1. And it looks like the trade is up because Screenly is taken out by
Pork Oman
Porkomon.
and the WZ-132. But now the turnaround from the Bag of Kittens and Valkyrie View us in the 1390 and the WZ-132 to chase after Porkomon. Here's Zizak in the T-69. He's going to be up against 2 tanks, and they will clean him up. The WZ-132 getting another shot in, 655 to 1350. Bag of Kittens taking some hits from Zizak. Trade spots. Valkyrie, get in front of your teammate here. Bag of Kittens says, no, I got this, bro. But here comes Sin 10, the 5100, turning around for the revenge kill. Does not land a shot against a Bag of Kittens. Valkyrie Vuas gets off a nice hit, but he gets hit himself.
Bag Kittens down to 405 health, still 2 shots away, even with this 5100. Wow, 5100 taking a lot of damage here. One more shot in a Bag of Kittens. He will not be able to dodge that shot. Valkyrie Vuas trying to get out as fast as possible. One more shot gets off before he's able to round that bend. Sin 10 playing very well in that 5100, but he did take a ton of damage. Was the trade worth it, though?
I have to say, it may have been a little bit even here. Bag of Kittens and Zizak are the ones that go down, but Sin 10 took a lot of damage. However, he's still in. Whoa, the 5100 Anubis takes down Porkomon, the WZ-132. He went out a little bit too far. And this is the surround scenario now from the north side as Anubis is leading the charge. Was it worth it? Yes, because now we have a full health 5100 that has destroyed the WZ-132 and is going to be pushing across that road to clean up the rest of the blue team. The blue team could get into a better defensive spot, though, and it looks like they are getting away from the road and waiting for them to turn the bend.
Sin 10 lining up shots. He gets one big shot on Valkyrie Vewas. He's clipping. Oh my god, he didn't reload? I have to feel like if he was going to kill Valkyrie Vewas, or if he had more shots, he's going to kill him right there. He only reloads in 3 seconds. But to me, as he actually moves away, that tells me he is reloading. He's retreating all the way over. This is a perfect time to actually go for it. There's only 2 T-69s on the map. They only deal on average 900 damage with all 4 of their shots, so just go for it. Go for a flag cap or whatever it might be, but you know you have a giant advantage because that 5100 will not be in the battle.
And Hired Gun, the Pershing, leading the charge a bit, but now he's backing down as Anubis tries to get a little bit of scouting or at least one hit against a T-69 that is on the map, but now all the blue team has disappeared for Refuse to Die. Vorbild line is falling back in a defensive position. Nector is spotted, the only one seen. He is in a good spot to see if there's going to be a push in from the red tanks. The Pershing leading the charge now, 1231 out of 1440 for HP. As Anubis, no damage has been done against him or his teammate World War II Fanatic. 12 shots of devastating damage from these tanks, along with a Pershing, not an autoloader, can clean up anyone that pops over that hill.
But you know what? They lost the timing here. I felt like that was a really tight window for them to actually go for the exchange, knowing that they're going to be exchanging T-69 hits for 5,100 hits. That's going to be the perfect time to actually take the fight. And from there, obviously, you have another engagement where you reload those 5,100s. But as it stands right now, it's going to come down to very defensive play coming out from Vorbild lines. It's unfortunate because I do feel like Ro4, again, in this series, is missing another opportunity.
And it could be that higher tension, higher stakes. Valkyrie view us maybe a little bit too low on HP, saying, hey guys, we need to be more cautious and careful. And in their minds, that being more prevalent rather than we have a window of opportunity, let's chase it, let's go for it. If Valkyrie view us did not, if you did not have that low of HP, it could be a different scenario with the WZ-132 moving past the enemy tanks as they try to focus on the 5100s. And in that shootout, using his mobility and accuracy on the move to land some serious shots. I think that's a big difference here for the confidence value and also chasing that window that was open for him.
Definitely so. I mean, you want to have that active scout open. If we look at just the tanks real quick, you have that WZ-132, the Pershing, and two 5100s. If you don't have that WZ-132 alive, then it's the Pershing that's going to be trying to scout out. That's a little bit difficult, even though the Pershing has great view range. You still want to be using that as that consistent fire. But maybe that makes a lot of sense. You close the distance, try to get 2 shots on the 5100, you're able to take them out, and then it's 2 T-69s against 2 5100s. Hey, I take the 5100s every single one of those days, especially if it's full life against full life.
Okay, World War II Fanatic, you and your teammate are going to have to make some serious decisions here pretty fast. They're going all the way to the north, kind of just scouting, really. Active scouting the 5100s, but more in the defensive position, waiting for the flag cap. Well, the blue team's not really at a great position to try to execute that. I thought they were going to have the one medium tank, the hired gun Pershing, hold the line as they went in for a flank all the way to the other side of the map on that road approach, which would have been great, at least trying to separate the turret rotation of where they're going to go. But it looks like Ro4 is going to take a defensive position and wait for Vorbild line to make a move. And frankly, this is...
they're probably not going to make a move.
Yeah,
right?
they're probably not going to make one at all.
So here's the thing. The T-69s, they still have, I mean, their penetration was nerfed, but their view range was not. The 2 T-69s able to be active with their viewing. They're able to see a lot of stuff that goes on. However, the big advantage that I think Ro4 has, even though Valkyrie Vewas is very low, he's a lot more invisible than these T-69s. He can be a lot more active. The 5100s can push up a little bit more, knowing that Sin is only 2 shots away, and I know they've scouted that out. They know Sin is only 2 shots away from dying. Just that knowledge, they could play a lot more aggressive, because if you think the T-69s, they can kill one 5100, but they're probably going to exchange the 5100 and one of the T-69s, and then from there the Pershing and the WZ-132 is able to clean things up. So I still feel like Ro4 can flex very easily, and it looks like they're going across and potentially do it. But they're assuming, look at that minimap, they're assuming that their opponents are being super defensive, but no, they're going to go all the way up into cap. And this is a bad situation because it's just that Pershing.
Don't stop moving, Anubis. Go. They're hesitating too much here as they see the rest of the tanks. He's probably heard a bag of kittens call out saying, hey, we need help. But the WZ-132 can get surrounded and chased. Anubis and World War II Fanatic are now on the move. Will it be a little bit too late, though? They could come just up the mountaintop with the sun shining behind them, the glorious victors here in those 5100s. The only damage being done is them crashing into each other. But there's a T-69 taking a couple of shots here, and now they're going to inch closer and closer to the great viewing range from far away. Valkyrie view us, another shot, but Sugata is able to take him down.
Yeah, that's right, and Sugata was able to take out that WZ-132, but the Pershing now is going up. The T-69 goes down, and it's Sin, who's only 1 shot away from dying, going into a very precarious situation. But when it comes down to it, they're trying to isolate hired gun in that Pershing I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. T-69 is clipping. That's when the Pershing really, really takes advantage. He has the consistent fire. He's the one that's going to be doing a ton of damage, while this T-69 is just waiting and waiting and waiting.
And here comes the cavalry. Anubis around the corner, lining up a shot against Sin 10, gets the kill, doesn't even stop. He's on the way. He knows Hired Gun needs help. His friend just went down. Bonjo Man, the only one left alive, and that T-69 is trying to get out of there as fast as he can, but Anubis has turned on the afterburners on his tank, and he is on the chase for the victory. No stopping Anubis. You have 1395 out of 1400. He has 435 out of 1350. It is clear and cut for him to
no,
get
it's just way too out. He only has one shot left. If not, he's clipping. Yeah, he's clipping at this point. He put on 3 shots, and then he chose to clip out. Anubis going to take the final kill. Ladies and gentlemen, Refuse to Die goes up 2-0.
Time to roll out. Battle number 4, Refuse to Die versus Vorbild line. Refuse to Die in the red, taking the south spot as Vorbild line takes the north on Ruinberg. And we're seeing a bit of a western push here from the red team. What do we have for tanks, Greetor?
2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and a T-32. Same thing that we saw on Ensk for Vorbild line. On the other side, we have 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and a WZ-132. Very interesting. This is more of, well, I guess like an all-around Runeberg setup. They are starting the south side, and I know for sure that Refuse to Die prefers the south setup. Soviet, why would they prefer the south?
The south is favoring the city a lot more. You can go into the city really well, control it, and as we can see, Quasiar already scouting the entire team for Vorbild line.
Nope, he's not scouting anymore.
Well, he's got enough information to show that a couple of those tanks are there. Bag of Kittens in the IS-3 is able to get a couple kills against Sugata. Bag of Kittens lining up those shots. And does he get the rest? Nope, he's backing up now, taking down that power line.
Clutch, was it worth it?
Sure.
1 shot for a T1?
Who shot him?
Didn't you say a Bag Kittens?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was worth it. But did Bag Kittens take any shots himself? No, he just got tracked though. And Sugata in his IS-3, 1288 at 1500.
Interesting positioning by Valkyrie Vewas. He really needs to back up. Big shot on him, 645 health. That's only 1 shot. That's the big problem with the WZ-132. They don't have a lot of health. They have very poor armor, and it's consistent fire. That's great, but I think, you know, the 1390...
Consistent fire, better accuracy on the move,
That's
better
true.
Traverse speed.
But if you're going into the city, isn't a 1390 a lot better? Because you're not going to really be attacking on the move nearly as much.
Because you can unload, of course, and if the 1390's maneuverability and a little bit smaller frame can get past the tank. You just can't turn around the tank inside of an alley as well. But once it's already past it, can simply turn its turret and unload in the side or the rear. And here's the push coming out from Refuse to Die.
Big
but
overmatch.
Sugata
takes 2 big shots, but there's a lot of good crossfire. And they're going full out. World War II Fanatic down to 671 health, but shots are missing, not connecting. And a Bag Kittens is going to screen out for that 5100. Really nice, nice HP sharing.
Yeah, really nice movement by him. A Bag of Kittens moves, but Warlord 2 Fanatic got tracked 72 out of 1400. But Zizak and his 5100 is going to be chased by Anubis around the corner, and Anubis is able to get the kill. That is going to be crucial later on in the battle, but Scringly and Valkyrie Views are down, while Sugata and Zizak are down. Bag of Kittens, he is hurting a bit. World War II Fanatic the same at a 72 HP. This is going to be have to have some serious HP sharing and hopefully a couple bounces for a Bag of Kittens in his IS-3 if they're going to hold the line for a strong push here. But Anubis trying to set up the flank. T-32 from Port Ormond is going to be chasing on. Bag of Kittens 27 out of 1500. Bag of Kittens is in some serious trouble, and he goes in and gets smashed by Sin 10 and his 5100.
The big ram. Nicely done by Sin, not wasting any shots. And there it is, another shot. Anubis, the only one left in that 5100. Big shot goes off on him by Sin 10 over on the other side, getting the flank. But when it comes down to it, I mean, Refuse to Die did a very bold move by pushing in and trying to isolate that single IS-3. They were just caught in the crossfire, way too many tanks. I think it might have been just a position where they felt so overconfident that they're going to, you know, well, they're ahead 2-0.
Yep.
They're saying, well, we can kind of do this. We have room for error. Let's go for it. unfortunately, it's coming to bite them in the butt.
Hired gun 001, the only one left alive, and 115 HP, low armor tier 1 T1 Cunningham. And he is going to try to stay away from the team as much as possible, because they could still draw it out since there's no 8-point rule in place. And they will be on the search for him, and they see him. Now, he could try to kill Rosales here, but it would slow him down a bit. He's going to turn the corner, going to go for the kill. It takes some hits. Rosales is able to clean him up, and that is a victory for Vorbild Line. They put a score on the board. It is 1-2 with one battle left. That means Vorbild Line is going to have to win this next one in order for them to draw it out and go to a shootout. If it's a draw or a victory for Refuse to Die, they will be the ones going to the grand finals.
Yeah. And Refuse to Die looks like going into the middle of a hallway, not the best decision just to take out a single tank.
No, not the best decision. And also, when you said, was it worth it? I'm like, yeah, they got the T1. He's fine. It's in an IS-3. But then their positioning was just off.
Yeah.
They weren't in a good offensive or defensive position. It was more of, oh, hey, guys, we got this. Let's just wait a little bit. And it didn't execute
And also,
properly.
how can you substantiate the claim when, yes, one shot was given off, but Valkyrie Vewas was also shot as well, and he's in that WZ-132. It's so easy. It's just a 2-shot directly after that from any of those tanks, and he's down. They have an HP disadvantage as it stands because of that T-32 over the WZ-132. So that's like 2 more shots that they have as an advantage. I don't think they can ever really say, yes, let's go ahead, do this push, and we'll win greater than 50% of the time.
And the target firing against those 5100s, trying to shoot past the IS-3s and lock those tanks down, led to them losing that damage output. And frankly, it was just a downward fall for the rest of Refuse to Die. Soviet, your thoughts?
Great composition by Vorbild Line. They kind of, sometimes you have to make sacrifices in World of Tanks, and we saw Sugata make that sacrifice for the team. As he went down into this road here and into the window there, he saw the push come. He kind of tried to make it as long as possible, staying alive there. He goes down, and we saw, and I want to say we might be seeing a little bit of a trend here. Refuse to Die comes out very strong, and then they kind of stagnate and a bit indecisive on what to do next. And what happens is, because Vorbild Line is so far away from the fight, they have these they have all this area kind of to work around and shield themselves from Refuse to Die. They were able to come in from the flank, put some shots as Refuse to Die is backing up instead of keeping the push up. They could have kept pushing, and then they still have a numerical advantage. But instead, they negate their numerical advantage. They have the 5100 come in from the behind and put a lot of shots into them, take a lot of damage. Their hit points go way down, and Vorbild Line was just able to encircle them and kill them. So good recognition by Vorbild Line, good composure there. And Refuse to Die perhaps just needs to be a little bit more decisive once they make the initial push, to keep pushing, to stick with it. Otherwise, you're going to see a lot of situations where you're starting to back up, and you of course, in a tank, when you're backing up, you're slower.
I mean, when it comes to it's still a treacherous march across that hallway, because when it comes down to it, you need to be able to circle around a corner so that there's going to be an inevitable flank coming in from your behind.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to do that. But I agree with you. Backing up 100% of the time, you will be in 2 crossfires, whereas at least you can escape one of the crossfires as soon as you round that bend. It's definitely a tough position for you to Refuse to Die, but Vorbild Line showing a little bit of life, and all it takes is one more battle to tie it up and go over to Melanovka.
That's right. They got some teeth. We're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for battle number 5. Stay tuned. You are watching WGLNA Season 2. Here we have the South Red team. It is Refuse to Die. Valkyrie Vewas in that 110. To the north, we got the blue team, Vorbild Line. They're down 1-2. What do we have for tanks? Retort.
Let's take a look. 1-1-10, 2 5100s, and 2 IS-3s. Same lineup we saw on Ensk for Refuse to Die. On the other side, same lineup that we saw on Ensk as well, and also Bruenberg. 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and a T-32. I'm honestly not a big fan of the T-32 on this map. I mean, There are some good hold down positions where you can use these little mounds to your advantage, but when it comes down to it, the real engagements, you're not going to have that. IS-3 Bag Kittens.
Yep.
They
crossed the no man's land. They crossed that courtyard. Bag of Kittens in the IS-3, like you said, Greetorp, Screenly, Valkyrie Vios in the 110, and Hired Gun pushing that line. And now the western push, the western cross is going to happen for the rest of the heavy tanks in the 5100s. The point men, the men to the front, have moved across that field that people say is a no man's land, and now Pork O-Man in the T-32 trying to hold down that position, but he's focusing his fire on Quasiar in the T1, and will he fully commit to him? That could be a crucial mistake.
You know, this exact play is supposed to punish. Wow, Quasiar actually losing out here. He wants a spot for his opponents. He didn't think that any of those tier 8s were going to be pointed at him, and boom, he gets punished. Bag Kitten's going to take a big shot as he crosses over. And it looks like Screenly is going to cross. Oh, wow. All of the tier 8 tanks are going to cross over. And look at the 5100s are all the way on the other side. They are spotted out here through the windows, and it's very easy for these IS-3s to be quickly picked off.
Sin 10 in a great spot on the hill, trying to get a couple shots from those 25100s going around. But Valkyrie Vios in the 110, trying to get away. 2 shots miss from the IS-3s. That is not good for Vorbild line, as now the Bread team is moving into some defensive positions on the western side.
Oh, Valkyrie Vewas takes 2 huge hits, down to 997 health, 689. This is not a good position. Bagkins has to push up, and where are those 5100s? They're still trying to get into a position where they can engage against their opponents.
Valkyrie Vios and World War II Fnatic now pushing in. I have no idea why Valkyrie Vios did not have his turret turned around. There was going to be no blue tanks on the western side. A bit of an oversight there, but Pork O-Man, the T-32, is now going to get hit by World War II Fnatic and Anubis. World War II Fnatic and Anubis getting shot still from the hillside, or at least one of the heavy tanks that has moved down, but they're going to try to get that surround on the T-32 as World War II Fnatic and Anubis are covering the other side. A flag cap on both sides here, as the one remaining hired gun, Tier 1, will try to stop the flag cap to the south.
Big miss by Banjo Man over there. He should have been able to take out Fnatic, or Anubis would have been dead right now. Now Sin going to round the corner, gets a nice shot onto his AMX 5100 opponent. Bag of Kittens and Screenly are going to go ahead and push on in, trying to take out Banjo Man just one shot away, but Nectar is pretty high up there at 851 hit points. Where's that 5100? He's reloading right now. He's signaling that he is reloading on the map, and Screenly might be able to do this, but there's cap pressure. Never mind.
There is cap pressure. He has 2 tanks to hide behind. So does Nectar. Now Screenly is going to go into brawl mode against the remaining IS-3. That flag cap is 40 seconds left, and it's going to be a Tier 1 fight for both of them. And Sugata is able to win it out, but it does reset the cap. Screenly, the only one left alive in an IS-3. Full health. Nectar still trying to brawl mode him. He does get a shot against Screenly. 509 against 1180. 525. There's the surround from Sin 10. Sin 10, the MVP of this battle. With that hill play, a victory for Vorbild line. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be going to a shootout. Wow.
Wow.
That Sin 10, man, I called it. Hill play. The only one that went, landing those shots against the team trying to go across that G line,
But clutch.
holding it down.
I would actually argue
And
that Sin
turning
10
it.
almost lost it for them.
How so?
Well, he's going to hill.
Well, it was
You're
a
going
gamble.
to hill.
It was a gamble.
It was, it was
a gamble, and
for
he won.
both teams.
Yeah, it was.
The crossing of the 2 IS-3s and the 110 over the D line was the biggest mistake you can make.
Mm-hmm.
The 5100s are going to be isolated for the majority of the time because there's going to be chase given to those consistent fire tanks. You can't be doing that. The 5100s need to get some good crossfires, and they're not able to do so. You saw how rushed they were. And when you have rushed 5100s, you're not going to have good shots. Sorry, guys.
Because we want to make sure that both the teams know the rules for the shootout. So our admins are doing that right now, talking to the team members. They're on TeamSpeak, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get it set up. But how it works, it's going to be on Malinovka. How do you pronounce it?
Malinovka.
Malinovka. On Malinovka. It's going to be on Malinovka. And the teams, it's the same setup. You bring 7x42. You get to line up your tanks how you want, where the admin tells you where to place your teams. And then the countdown begins, and then they fire. Whoever's the last tank alive, their team wins. That's pretty much how it works. And you can't shoot unless it's clear to shoot, because if you do that, you're disqualified.
Yes.
That's what happened with Hunter by Hunter versus
Simple Source.
Cibosaurus Rex. And Cibosaurus Rex went on to face Cazadores, and Cazadores won qualifier number 1. They will be joining us in league play. So don't fire until it's declared you can shoot.
Soviet, obviously you are a professional player from Fulcrum Gaming. How much skill does it take to win in a shootout? Is it a lot of RNG, do you think? Or is this a case where if you are the better tankers overall, you will win the majority of the time, or maybe even 90% of the time?
I think it comes down to skill and willpower at this point, because you've been fighting so long, you're in a shootout. Whoever has the willpower to make those shots count absolutely all the time is going to win it. Skill here is a big factor because you got to know who to focus fire properly. You got to know the weak spots. Sometimes teams will go for very awkward tanks that you'd not usually see in the format at all. We're talking perhaps KV5s, hint, hint, and perhaps some other tanks. So there's a lot of things that can go in the shootout that we don't normally see. That's why I'm so excited about it. And absolutely, you have to make your shots count. You gotta cover. You gotta share the hit points. It's a good exercise for teams, really. If you're starting up a team, you need to actually practice those and work on covering each other. Work on the communications.
Could you ever see like 5 KV5s trying to win it out here and being successful?
No, that would be. While the KV5 is definitely a big tank, it does lack in certain aspects of mobility. So you never know.
It lacks in mobility, but
Makes up for
you're not
HP
really
or
moving that much, right?
silhouette.
Hold on. What if the team that you're shooting at covers behind a dead KV5, and all of a sudden you have to move around that dead KV5 to get any shots, right? So all of a sudden you're a KV5, and I like to call the KV5 a battleship. It's chugging along in the waters. So World of Battleships is already actually here. We have the KV5 on Malinovka.
That and the talk. Also, we have to wait for them to set up to move to the section of the map, to the farm area, the open field. The admin, again, is with them, setting them up. Ro4 will be the admin in this, so the Ro4 tank does not count for the red team. However, you will see it on the screen.
I'm so surprised because guess how many autoloaders are in there? Just guess. Don't look.
0.
Yeah.
There's 0 autoloaders?
0 autoloaders. Well, if you want to count the T1s. Okay, 4 T1s.
Wow. Yeah.
No, actually, there's only 3 T1s. Excuse me.
0 autoloaders.
And
look at these
or
medium,
2 of them are medium.
Look at these Quasiar and hired gun medium ones.
Medium ones are much, much bigger, so you can get a better hold down position with them.
Great choice.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the game here as we see the different teams meet up on the farmlands for Malinovka. And this will be the shootout, ladies and gentlemen. Sudden death to find out who will be going to the finals. Greetorp, you have the tank list. What do we have?
2 IS-3s, KV-5, and 2 T-32s. So it looks like it feels like the IS-3s are going to be in front. KV-5 is also going to be in front. And the T-32s will be in hold down position around the IS-3s. KV-5 probably going to be in front, but I'm not sure because there's a big R2-D2 unit that you definitely want to hide. Maybe right behind the IS-3s as they make a V formation, and then the T-32s directly behind those. On the other side, we have IS-3s and KV-5s. It kind of feels like with those 4 tanks, the KV-5s are going to be in... So the KV-5, I'm not sure with how they're going to do the format over here with the Feast of Time. So,
well, I'm looking at the red team right now. Anubis' turret is way far away just to make sure he doesn't hit any of the tanks here. If he accidentally fires, nobody wants to do that because it will be a disqualification if you injure a tank.
Yeah, and the reason why we keep bringing this up is Hunter by Hunter
did that
against Cibosaurus Rex.
Yeah,
in the first qualifiers for Season 2. And it was really a shame because we got everything set up, everything was looking good. Boom! Just a T1 shoots another T1. It's like, DQ, moving on.
Yeah, admin comes out. They're DQ'd.
That was sad face. And
yeah. Well, there's Ro4 again, the T1. He is the admin, so he does not count on the red team. He is simply talking to the tanks, making sure everyone is in line. Nobody fires ahead of time here. That's why he's in the game, so pay no attention to that. And he's also telling them, okay, you have to line up to my position. And that's what we're seeing these tanks do. Again, the setup's going to take a little bit here because of the specific rule set we have for shootout. And both the teams, team captains, everyone is on the same page. Ro4 now is leaving the battlefield, and we will wait for the countdown, or it could be the first fire here as he communicates with the teams. The setup is intriguing here. Those medium ones, as you said, Retorp can set up that.
So the medium ones are in front, covering the R2-D2 units of the KV-5s. Makes a ton of sense. You can see, look how big these mediums are. They almost feel like they're like a tier 6 or something because of how big they are. Nope, they're terrible. T1s. They are the tier 1 tugs, man.
They are effective, though. We're getting closer and closer, folks. Just waiting for confirmation from the admin as we get the final setup here. Look at this, like, flying V. It's the flying V from the Mighty Ducks coming out from Refuse to Die.
So let's just look at this. This makes a lot of sense. The mediums covering the R2-D2 units of the KV-5s. The KV-5s in excellent, excellent reverse angling position. Right behind that, we have the IS-3s in hull down and the T-32 sticking out in front in a nice hull down position. This works out very, very well. Let's take a look at the other side as I move on over there. So we just have a simple line for it. Look at this. In constant reverse angling from all these tanks, the T1s are up in front. The IS-3 is going to be in hull down position right behind that. T-32s, wall of death right there. There are, let me just see, are there any vulnerable positions? It's hard to say for either of these teams.
If they're able to move back and forth and have that HP sharing, that is very, very intriguing. The type of lineup here. I'm really excited for the meta play between these two players, these two teams with the setup. Simply waiting for real kill. There's the shots fired. Here we go. Quasar, first one to go down. Hired gun, 78 HP out of 140. Valkyrie View is still left alive here in the KV-5. Shots going down on both sides, and it looks like it's the T1s that are the first ones to go down. There's the other T1 on the other side. World War II Fnatic does die for the tier 8 for the red team, and now it's going to be a reload for both the teams here as they continue the volley of shots. Valkyrie View and the KV-5 goes down. Porcomon, the T-32 gets that kill. Hired gun in the medium one, still firing away, but he's not going to be able to damage too much here. He goes down. 3 left alive. T-32 and IS-3s. This is intriguing play. Now they have a good hold down position of this V, but Bag of Kittens is at a good angle to increase those bounces from his IS-3. Skringley is taking a couple more shots as well as Anubis, but he is in a great hold down position. Only his turret really is exposed. However, he does take another hit against a couple.
And they're pushing up now. This is good and bad. They notice that they have the advantage and they want to exercise this, but now they're putting the T-32 in a position where he can get penned 100% of the time. The thing is, it's constant fire. That means the reloads are a little bit longer. They're only going to get an extra shot, and they've already killed a lot of tanks. Down goes that T-32, but Porcomon, he's at full health. So is Sugata.
Banjo
and they need to kill Banjo Man,
Banjo Man, 102 out of 1,500. One more shot, he goes down. Skringley is able to clean it up. Porcomon, however, gets the last kill in the T-32. It's a KV-5 versus a T-32. This could be an HP victory right now, Greetorp. Skringley is going to take one more hit from Porcomon. The T-32 gets the kill, and Bag of Kittens, the only one left alive. The only way he can win is to have some serious bounces. That KV-5 has so much HP.
He needs miracle bounces at this point, and they're doing the right thing, just shooting directly in the front of that IS-3. A Bag of Kittens just backing up, trying, but it's not going to work out. Porcomon going to get the finishing blow, and look at that, a big, big upset, a big turnaround, being down 2-0 and coming back, tying it up, and then winning it out on Malinoka for the shootout. Congratulations, Vorbild line. It was a well-thought-out battle and a well-thought-out series. They're going to take it.
They're going to go to the finals, and they're going to have to win another best-of-5 against Pubstars. Congratulations to them. A good, effective setup. T-32 coming out for the win there as they were able to push in. And I have to applaud both these teams because a shootout, you can imagine how high the stakes are to even start this series, but to go to a sudden death environment, the nerves are very high for both these teams.
Right. And you know what? I actually like that line format. It makes a lot of sense. You're poking out a little bit, just getting that hit, and you're able to back up if you are low. But for the side of Refuse to Die, you have to stay in that position, because if you move, it's like the phalanx. If one side dies out, the whole thing will collapse because you need all the tanks in the right place. So if they're just a little bit not reverse angle enough, you're in a bad situation.